This is a story about a philosophy you probably weren't taught in school, but one that just might change how you live, how you suffer, and how you endure. It's called Stoicism. And no, it's not about suppressing emotion or pretending to be indifferent. It's about something deeper. It's about becoming unbreakable. Stoicism was born in ancient Greece nearly 2,300 years ago. But it wasn't some abstract idea for academics sitting in ivory towers. It was forged in the chaos of real life, for soldiers, for slaves, and even emperors. At its core, it's a brutal recognition of one truth, that life will hurt, and we must be ready to meet it with strength. We often admire people who stay calm under pressure. We say things like, "He's so composed," or "Nothing seems to rattle her." But do we ever ask how? How do some people remain grounded when everything seems to be falling apart? The Stoics had an answer, not by believing things will be fine, but by preparing for when they're not. Two names stand out in the world of Stoicism. Seneca, a Roman playwright and advisor to emperors, lived a life surrounded by wealth and danger. He ultimately died by forced suicide, ordered by the emperor he once counseled. Then there's Marcus Aurelius, perhaps the most powerful man of his time, who, despite ruling an empire, spent his nights writing to himself about discipline, humility, and the brevity of life. His private reflections became Meditations, one of the most beloved works of philosophy ever written. So what did these men believe? Let's start with anxiety. When we're anxious, we tend to reassure ourselves with, "It'll be fine." But Stoics found this dangerous because false hope is fragile. Hope lifts us up, only to let us fall harder. Instead, Stoicism offers something darker, yet more liberating. It might go badly, the Stoic admits. You might lose the job, the relationship, the dream. But here's the twist. You'll survive it. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." To build this strength, the Stoics practiced something radical. Premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. They would rehearse their worst fears, sleep on the floor, wear worn-out clothes, eat the simplest food. Why? To remind themselves that even if everything is taken from them, they'll still be themselves. Seneca once asked, "What is the worst that can happen? Death? Prison? Poverty?" And then calmly answered, "These things are bearable. What breaks us is our own panic." Another idea the Stoics focused on, one we all struggle with, is anger. To them, anger didn't come from events, but from expectations. If you expect the world to always be fair, people to always be kind, life to always reward effort, you'll live in constant frustration. But if you accept that people will be selfish, that betrayal and chaos are part of life, then their presence no longer surprises you. Seneca said, "Would you get angry at a storm for being wet? Then don't get angry at people for being flawed. Learn to expect disappointment, and you'll be calm when it arrives." There's also a discomforting part of Stoicism, their constant talk of death. To modern ears, it might sound morbid, but for the Stoics, death wasn't a taboo. It was a compass, a reminder that life is short and our ego is meaningless. They encourage daily reflection on mortality. "You could leave life right now," Marcus wrote. "Let that determine what you do and say and think. This wasn't meant to scare you. It was meant to awaken you, to help you stop wasting time on things that don't matter." Let's be clear. Stoicism is not about avoiding pain. It's a guide through it. It doesn't promise a life without struggle. It promises that you can survive, endure, and even thrive in the midst of it. When life gets hard, when people let you down, when fate turns against you, Stoicism whispers, "You've trained for this." Seneca's final words, spoken calmly as he prepared for death in a warm bath, were simple. What need is there to cry over parts of life? The whole of it calls for tears, Stoicism doesn't demand that you never feel sadness. It asks only that you don't become a prisoner to it, that you meet pain not with panic, but with peace. We have much to learn from the Stoics, not because they had easy lives, but because they knew how to face hard ones. And in that they left behind a roadmap, not to live without pain, but to live above it,